Okay, folks, I'm back again. And you know, every time I come back, there's a new nonprofit that we're introducing to the world. The individual we have today is really a celebrity in that particular respect, but that's not what connected me to him. Because you know, I work with celebrities all the time. What connected me to him was his heart, his ability to give back. For him, it wasn't about the money, because he's got money, but it was about what can he do to change the narrative. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce this guy. He's going to tell you who he is, what he's done, and he's going to tell you a little bit about his nonprofit. And near the end, he's going to give you some information how you can give a donation. So Frank, who are you?
Well, my name's Frank D. Murphy, former NFL player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Miami Dolphins, the Houston Texans, and I was blessed to be drafted by the Chicago Bears. And of course, that's not all to me. I don't want you to just know me as an NFL player. I want you to know me as a man that never gave up, that had every opportunity to quit, every opportunity to throw in the white towel, but I didn't. And you may ask why. The reason why is because I knew I was called to do more than just the NFL. That was a great opportunity for a platform, and I'm humble for it. But the real thing that I feel like I was called to is to impact the next generation, impact former athletes, impact at-risk youth, impact those that are incarcerated in prison from our juvenile system. So when you ask me who I am, I'm that guy that never gave up because I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a purpose on a purpose. And that's to impact them and inspire them to make better decisions so they don't make the same mistakes that I made. Yeah, it's tough. It's very tough. It's very difficult to get to the NFL, but it's even tougher to try to impact the next generation with what we're dealing with today. So you have to come up with strategic planning and strategic ways, such as the curriculums and the programs and books and things that you know that would inspire them, but at the same time, entertain them to a point where they want to hear you talk. They want to hear you motivate, and they want to get answers from you so they don't have to get it from the wrong person. So that's who I am. I'm a guy that put down that fake ID. That's called that. You know what a fake ID is? A picture of you, but everything on there a lie. I told it a fake ID for a long time. And man, I put that fake ID down and I picked up my real ID, a picture of me, but everything on there is truth. And that's my goal. That's my heart, to make sure that every young person that comes across me, every next generational person that's seeking to be great, that I help them fulfill their greatness by telling them to put down their fake ID. That's who Frank Murphy is. And I'm honored and I'm blessed to be in the presence of such great mentors, such as a coach, Tony Dungy. I'm honored to even be around even Michael right here, a guy that has shown me his heart, his capabilities, his knowledge, but he's using it for all the right reasons. And that's one reason why I want to connect with him. There's plenty of people want to do these things for me. Year after year, want to do make sure I'm prepared for grants and all that stuff. So I had plenty of opportunities, but those wasn't the opportunities that fit me because they didn't have the heart. Yeah. And when I met Mike, he has the heart. And that's why I think we kicked it off so well, along with a great friend of mine called Maurice. Maurice did a great job introducing us.
Maurice is well known in Tampa as Super Dad.
Yep. Where he goes and impact the fathers. He impact the fathers and he motivate the fathers, give them a second wind of life, so to speak, so they'll understand what they're about to face, what they're about to go through. And I watched him do that for a long time, and he's still doing it. So I'm grateful that he was able to plug us in, and man, it's been lights out ever since.
So Frank is taking part in our CEO workshop. It goes beyond the mere grant and put structure to the nonprofit. Frank has a love and a passion for what he do. And that's why I'm happy to work with him, because here's what we know. When we look at the crisis that's going on among young people in our country, we got a crisis like no time before. Every day we pick up about one young person killing another young person, or okay, Frank, let's pause for a second.
Breath.
Okay. So Frank, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
What is the age demographic that you're looking at? What age? What age to what age do you cut off?
It's really middle school, so that's like the 11-year-old, where they can understand exactly what the product and the curriculums that we putting out there to influence them. And it goes all the way up to, of course, like 24, 25.
Mm.
We even have entrepreneurs, Fortune 500 companies have taken these courses. So it really don't stop with age, to be honest with you. But if you ask me my target audience, yeah, we're hitting our youth from 11 years old up to about 25, 26. This curriculum has went into NFL facilities. This curriculum and programs and books have went into community centers, prisons, juvenile jails, adults prisons, adults jail. Foster homes are part of our attraction as well. We understand what they're going through. We have a great team in the Florida area, the Tampa area to be exact, and all of us have a heart to give back. You can't even be on the team. You do to be on the board. If I get any whiff that your heart is not right, that you're not in the right position when it comes to making decisions on how to impact the next generation, that's not your focus, then it's just not the place for you. I take that real serious because when people are representing you in the public eye, you want to make sure that they are similar to your thought process, similar to your ways. So it's just been a long road, but to get here, it takes having a good heart and hard work and dedication. And that's one thing that Mentor and Purpose Charity has. And that's why we target these at-risk youths, because it takes work. Because you got to understand that they don't went through so much trauma and so much toxic has been influenced in their life. You have to go in, you have to be ready to put on the boots and put on the gloves and go in and impact like you never impacted before, not entertain.
Now, Frank, how long have you been doing this? When did you start your nonprofit? What year?
I started my nonprofit in 2009, but I started giving back when I was young. And then when I was little, I was giving out clothes to people in my community, tell them to come to the back window because their mom wasn't home because they was on crack cocaine. And I used to go to their house and look around like, whoa. They didn't have no meals. I remember I used to tell them to come to my house. My mama would never know. Come to my house at 6 o'clock. She won't have no idea. Keep showing up at 6 o'clock, and that's when we eat. After a while, my mama say, something ain't right. It's been every day this week. These kids been coming over at 6 o'clock when we eat. So, of course, we thought we were smarter then, but I always been that guy, that kid giving back. And then I remember when I got drafted, I was spending so much money back in my communities, and my CPA say, I gotta talk to you. I want to hold a meeting with you. And I was like, I wonder what he's finna talk about. So I'm thinking like the only thing that he can say is about me giving all this money. And if he tell me that, I'm a fire him. So I get into his office and he say, Frank, I just want to talk to you about, you can't be giving all this money. I say, you're fired. He say, wait. He say, wait, I got a plan. I was just calling you to say, my plan is, Frank, that you get a nonprofit organization so people can help you fulfill your heart, your desire. So what I did, I read on nonprofit, I sat with nonprofit organizations, I did my due diligence. So it took me about almost 2 years before I started, because I wanted to make sure that I was on point with what I was doing with the legal part of it. So I started my nonprofit in 2009, and we've been going ever since. We have received all type of awards. Thank God. That's humbling that, you know, we get received the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award from President Barack Obama. We received another award from the president right now. And we receive the key to the city. It's just been an honor and a blessing to receive these awards for all the hours and programs we have put in school systems and things of that nature.
So Frank, I'm gonna put you on the spot because this right here is going national. That's a young person that's looking at this conversation. They in the age range that you talked about, they've lost all hope. All they see in their community is crime and drugs and negative. Being African-American also can be a negative. What can you say to that young person right now that's looking here and trying to find their way to be a more positive individual?
The first thing I want to tell you that everybody deserves a do-over, and I'm talking about you. You got to be in the mirror telling yourself that I deserve a do-over, because there's going to be mistakes made that's out of your control. And a lot of times when you're in those type of environments, because I grew up in those type of environments, so I know firsthand, that environment raised me. That environment was way more stronger than what my mom and dad and my guardians were saying. And I want you to understand that the streets don't love you. The streets ain't never served time in jail, but you can. The streets has given up on you because it's telling you to do X, Y, Z, which equals prison or death. So when you walk around your neighborhood, I want you to envision yourself not going to jail, not getting killed, but putting a plan together. How can I give back? How can I change? And the minute you change your thinking from kill, sell dope, firearms, and put it on something else, the minute your environment will start changing. See, your environment all the time is not just in your community, it's in your head. And one thing that I had to do, and I'm talking to a young person or a middle age or a grown adult, one thing I had to do, I had to change the way I thought about things. When I was incarcerated, it was important. When I was incarcerated, I was in those jail cells, and I remember us going to rec. Mike, we went to rec. We playing basketball. I'm dunking. I'm doing my thing. And I noticed it was a guy up in the booth with the guard. I didn't know who he was. Nobody did. So as we was leaving, the guard told me to stay back. So I'm thinking I got in trouble. I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? And the guy walk out with the guard and say, hey, man, he said, I don't know what you in here for, but the guards talk about you. And I had to come in here and see you at rec time. And he say, man, you can go to the NFL or the NBA. Mike, nobody have ever told me that. It changed the way I thought when I was incarcerated. So I went back to my room doing push-ups, sit-ups. I'm squatting the mat. They say, man, what you doing all that for? I said, because I'm going to the NFL. They all laughed at me. I was 15 years old, Mike, telling them I'm going to the NFL inside prison behind bars in the worst situation, facing trial, facing 10 to 15 years. But that man, what he said to me, it stuck with me. So you know what I'm gonna tell any young person out there watching this? I'm gonna tell you that you can do whatever you want to do, but you have to change your mindset. You will be successful. So it's called the mirror drill. When the NFL scouts told me they wouldn't draft me because of my past, they told me that to my face. And I'm trying to tell you that whoever's telling you that to your face, or if you telling yourself you can't make it, you got to get in the mirror and use the mirror drill like I did. I got home when that scout told me that. I got home and got ready for the NFL draft. And my mama said, you ready for the draft, son? You work so hard. I say, mama, they don't really like me. She say, son, what God got for you, no man can take it away. And I got in that mirror in that bathroom and I say, I will get drafted. I don't care what they say. I love myself. God loves me. I'll never give up. And I got drafted in the 6th round ahead of a whole bunch of people that they said I would not get drafted. And I'm not saying this to brag, but you know, Tom Brady.
It's okay to brag.
Hey, Tom Brady the GOAT, but I got drafted before Tom Brady.
That's awesome, man.
So man, that's what I would tell y'all. If God will do it for me, he'll do it for you. And you have to believe in yourself and use the mirror drill.
Now you also operating out of Georgia as well. Is that correct?
Correct.
So do you see yourself going national in different states as well?
Yes, that was always the goal, Mike. That was always the goal, to get satellite offices in different cities, just satellite offices, and have directors running those offices. So, because I can't be everywhere at one time. So I thought of this idea, let's get satellite. And that's why I contacted you, because I know without a doubt of a doubt, you can help me accomplish those goals to impact these youth that need our help so desperately.
So I want to put you on the spot again. That somebody's got a checkbook right now. Because like you convinced me, you convincing them as well. How do they get a donation to you? And do you only take cash donations, or are there any other donations that you'll take in order to increase your capacity as a nonprofit?
You know, that's a good question. And you know, I'll say this right here, Mike, before I even get to the donation part. I was doing a speaking engagement in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I love Chattanooga, Tennessee. I was out there. I got some friends out there. I coached at Baylor School, one of the most prestigious schools, high schools ever. And I was there coaching for 3 years. And they let me do my programs with the kids and things of that nature. And they asked me to speak at this event. Whole bunch of wealthy people at this event, of course. And And I started talking about what I went through. I started talking about what you how you have to help the next generation. And I wasn't getting no response. So I was kind of like, so I paused. I said, I want everybody in this room to think about when the pipe busts, we all get wet. They say, what? You can see everybody's face. I say, when the pipe busts, we all get wet. I say, don't you have a kid? And I say, even more important, do you have a grandkid? If it miss your kid because you think it's okay because I stay behind gated communities, because I stay behind gated communities, and they stay behind gated communities, and they like, you know what? That ain't gonna touch us. The pipe may bust, but we ain't getting wet because we stay in the suburbs. But you have a kid that goes out there in this world. Most importantly, you got that grandkid. And I say, when they look in your face and say, Papa, what did you do when they was mistreating, or what did you do with these programs to help the next generation that didn't have help? Did you help them out? Did you help anybody? That's what they're going to ask. And what are you going to say? What are you going to say to that grandkid? Because that might be your grandkid that got to get influenced by the wrong crowd to go rob and steal and shoot or do drugs. You got to make sure you stay active. You got to make sure if you was blessed, you got to make sure you stay active to be a blessing to someone else. And I'm here to tell you, it's not all about money. If you can give your time, if you can give your wisdom and ideas, that's just as important. But you can go to my website, mwpcharity.org. That's www.mwpcharity.org. That's mwpcharity, CHARITY. And you can give there at any amount. It'll come right to our organization account. It'll have all the information telling us who gave and things of that nature if you want that to be disclosed. And we not only would appreciate it, but we would like to talk to you personally. I would. When somebody donate, I don't care if it's $10. You ask my staff or my CPA who gave. And if it's anonymous, that's one thing. If it's not anonymous, I want to tell them thank you. I don't care if it's $5, $10, $20, or $100,000. We have match offers as well. We do whatever we can, because the more we can do, the more people we can help, the more youth we can impact and get these programs and do these campaigns to get these books and programs in the community centers, in the prisons, in the jail, the more influence we can have on the next generation. We build up athletes to be role models as too. That's part of our program, where we take athletes that's going to the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, track, swimming, whatever, and we take them through our character life skill program so they get ready to be role models. Because we have so many bad role models these days. So I get called a lot to life coach and mentor a lot of athletes professionally, as well as high school and middle school. And we do that just so we can make sure we putting a great role model in front of our next generation, our kids. So just remember, when the pipe busts, we all get wet. You have to play your part. And that's mwpcharity.org. Go to the website, hit on donation on the donation tab, and do whatever God put on your heart. I'll be very thankful. And those kids, they'll be very thankful as well.
But you have two things based on my experience in working with nonprofits, especially nonprofits that deal with health issues. You got two things going for you. First, you got street creds. They're going to respect you. See, people don't understand. You have to have relationship to get to the worst of the worst in the hood. You got that. You got that street cred. You've been there. You've been to jail. You've been to all those things like that. And you came out and you was accepted. The second thing you got is that you got that athletic background. So because of those two things, you're going to be able to reach the worst of the worst youth like nobody else that's doing it right now. Because you might come to the youth and you got all these Harvard education and everything like that, but you don't have an understanding about street life. As they say, the mud. And that's what you got for you. I appreciate what you're doing, because you're going to be able to reach so many people that need it, especially in this time right now when we got young people just killing each other day after day, after day, after day, and they killing babies. So before we sign off, anything you want to say, Frank, to anybody, but I do want to give you a shout out, man, to say I really appreciate what you're doing. And again, man, what attracted me about you was your heart. You know, because I met celebrities like you, I turned away because about them was all about fame. You know, it was
Yeah.
all about them. It wasn't about the substance of who they was doing based on that past experience. And Frank, you got a hell of a story to tell.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's nothing else I really say that I'll just leave y'all with, man, that at the end of the day, we all have a purpose. And we don't want to let, and you don't want to let your purpose go to the graveyard. Because if you let it go to the graveyard, you didn't just cheat yourself, you just cheated the next generation. And we don't want to cheat our next generation, those who try to look up to us or want to look up to us. We have to make ourselves available so they can look up to us, and also it influences them to make better decisions and be who God called them to be. Don't let your purpose go to the graveyard, so that way you don't let the next generation purpose go to the graveyard either.
That was to the point, Frank. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to working with you and your organization to change the narrative, because at the end of the day, we all we got and we all we need. So thanks again.
No problem. Thank you.